Thank you for clicking on this Fun with Pete and Sherry video. I am your host, Mr. Julian, and today you have a lovely co-host, my pal Miss Hope, who is also a fan of scotch. And actually, Hope, you have picked us out a bottle
I did.
here.
I picked up the Glengoyne, Highland single malt.
The 21-year-old Glengoyne. Now, that color is 100% natural. That is what you get for taking a first fill Oloroso sherry cask.
Now,
and putting your
Julian
whiskey
already
into
messed
it.
this up by tasting this previously to us making this video. But
They know I taste scotch from time to time. They forgive me.
how dare you?
That is natural color from time in sherry cask alone. So there is no, you're allowed to add only two things to scotch after you get it out of the barrel: water and E150A caramel coloring. But only the cheap ass people do that. Now, really good scotch like this. First of all,
You don't need to add
too,
color.
that caramel color only makes a whiskey brown. Nothing makes it red, except for actual time in a sherry barrel, or a different kind of wine, a red wine barrel. But usually sherry because of the sweetness and the complexity. So Glengoyne 21 is one I have had. This is the second bottle I've owned of it, and it's one of the ones that you hesitate to drink because it's that good.
All right.
Because you just don't want to finish it. And like I say, they have a philosophy, and they're going to be 0 parts per million, 0 ppm. That means no peat influence, no smoky, earthy
Okay.
flavor. So they just use, that means the malted barley is going to be roasted over a neutral heat flame. What do they normally use for that? I think anthracite heat.
That sounds dangerous. Anthracite.
Anthracite is just like extremely pure coal. It's just like
So
like
probably is
shiny
dangerous.
black. It's not really.
I mean,
It's just a rock. Peat, by the way, is coal in its early stage while it's still organic and
Right.
forming into a rock. And so
are you gonna pour this?
I am, but we do things a little. We take our time with these. So first, we're going to actually smell the open bottle. And so the wine influence is extremely noticeable. That it smells like grapes and wine at the top.
Totally does.
Very, very, very much so. So, all right, and then when we spread it around in a glass. Okay, so smell a little bit. The way I like to smell, and I'm sort of like the only one who does it this way, but I sort of basically take my face and just be like, it's like I'm
Gas
huffing
mask
it, like as if it were, as if you were like huffing gasoline, and that's how you really get it. Go ahead. Now that is so full. That is so. There's wine, and that is going into like date, and fig, and then but then fermented fig. Oh my god! Did you just have a sip?
Holy shit, that's good.
Yeah, you cheated. So that's the final test. We're going to have a sip. I also like to nose my whiskey while it's in my mouth.
Man, that's really good whiskey.
Oh, yeah. Now that is a flavor dance.
Wow. That is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no wonder you don't drink this bottle. God. It's like so smooth and yet fiery at the same
time. And they don't actually give these away, but they are worth the price. If you ever see a Glengoyne 21 on the shelf, pick it right up. Now there's an even darker, I think maybe even a couple even darker older Glengoynes, but for some reason they are almost impossible for me to find.
For some reason?
Yeah, I mean, like an even darker, because for natural color whiskey, Scotch whiskey, that is so dark.
How does it burn and is smooth at the same time?
Well, 21 years, and the way it works with Scotch is that time takes away the fire but leaves the warmth.
Oh my God, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
You see how you get something like this and you start to actually really get hooked on
I mean,
what they call the flavor seekers, people who seek after these really good bottles.
it like hits so many parts of your tongue at the same time.
There is vanilla. It's actually for sherry barrel whiskey. I actually think sometimes sherry barrel whiskeys have a stronger vanilla component than bourbon barrel whiskeys. I've never heard anyone else say that, but bourbon barrels always taste a little lemony to me. But you've got the vanilla and molasses.
It's almost making my tongue go numb.
Yes. Do you get any of that? See if you can name any flavors.
I don't know. I just keep tasting cherries.
There's cherry, yes, and there's also I think orange, maybe tangerine hints.
Oh, I could see that.
But so many other things too. The date and
Oh, I see dates.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was gonna say figs, but they're not figs. They're definitely dates.
I could see fig too. I get a little fig. I do get a little fig. There is none of the. There's not any. There's no marzipan. There's none of the nutty stuff here. There's no citrus here.
And it's not even really that sweet.
It. I don't know. It's.
It's got some sweet elements, but the overall taste isn't that sweet.
Once again, if I can describe the event, but it actually. I do.
It's indescribable.
Well, I talk about the way tastes go through transitions, but this isn't so much that it goes through transitions because it kind of all is right there.
Kind of hits the back of your tongue.
Mm-hmm. It just kind of hits the roof of my mouth too. When you actually get one of the biggest flavor events is if you swallow just a small amount, then you open your mouth slightly and just kind of slightly breathe slowly. Just do what I'm saying. Amen. Then open your mouth. That's the way you can really start to feel the flavor because you're smelling it and tasting it at the same time.
Like a dog, I get it. There's a certain spice that I can't put my finger on. It's an absolutely delicious whiskey. If you ever have however much you need to drop on this bottle to spare.
I think I paid about $300.
Right?
I did tell you guys if you want to get rich, I am talking about cryptocurrency, and I am surprisingly good at this.
So am I.
So that's why we have such damn good whiskey, and my life is you would say has changed.
It definitely has. I see the vanilla. I didn't see it at first, but no.
Mm-hmm.
It gives him after sex face.
I thank you for implying that you knew that. But, one of the ways I judge how good when I'm getting into the quality of a whiskey when I know it's very good, like this. One of the things you use is start to take. This sounds terrible. Start to take really, really large sips at the same time because if you take a large sip of whiskey, this seems good, but then the flaws will reveal themselves in a large sip.
No,
that
you
didn't.
could take a large sip of this.
But you could take a large sip of this, yes, how large a sip you can take before it gives you whiskey face is one of the before you start to get the things that you don't like. But this is almost like one of the properties of this that is
No,
so
you could
grand
shoot
is
this.
there's nothing in it that you don't want. There's no flavor in this that's harsh. Would you say pouring this into your mouth is like pouring maple syrup into your mouth?
Better.
It's.
I would not pour maple
Yeah.
syrup into my mouth.
But it's like in terms of like if you're young or whatever, you're used to drinking liquor as something that burns your throat or whatever. This is something completely.
Oh, this is a whole different
completely
ball
different.
game. We're not even playing in the same we're not even playing on the same planet as regular liquor here. God damn. Oh, I did your whole big swallow test, and god damn, you can swallow this.
Yeah, you really can. You could gulp.
You could
this.
chug this.
You could chug this.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No, that would be a waste. It's too good. It's too good for that. But so let's try this. I said sometimes a whiskey will reveal even more. A really good whiskey will reveal even more if you add a little water. So let's try some water, and just to see. This is spring water, which is now what I'm using in my scotch because, of course, scotch begins with spring water. So, and that's about all I add. You don't actually want to see so much the level rise here because you're not trying to dilute.
That's about a teaspoon.
You're not trying to dilute the scotch. You're trying to open it. You're trying to activate it.
Fair enough.
When water
less
and
than a teaspoon.
alcohol partner over years, they come to a like warring nations that have got a dividing line that becomes very rigid. When you add something in there that unsettles the balance, and look at the whiskey mist in the.
So how long do you have to give this?
Good question. Most people don't give it very much time at all, but the answer that experts will give you is, if you want to see what the water is really going to do to activate it, give it 1 minute for every year in the barrel.
So we have to give it 21 minutes. We'll be right back, sir.
So, welcome back. We stepped away, and we actually stepped away. It's actually good. Stepping away for a few minutes is really good. The complexity, as I was talking about, after you add the water, the changes the whiskey goes through. Said 21 minutes, but that's really just the beginning. After an hour, it's changed more, and after an hour, oh man, it's still. The smell is actually much. Easier to it's just coming off in great waves now, but still that it leads with that powerful fullness of like sour date, but with the vanilla and the
Yeah,
last
no, I think the vanilla is even more pronounced now.
And now I'm getting the tiny hint of nuttiness too.
I was just about to say that. Do you smell any nuts?
Almond, yeah, like amaretto.
Ah, yes, that's it.
Cherry
I was going to say
almond.
hazelnut, but no, it's not hazelnut. I think it's amaretto.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh my God. I could just
And
sit
the
here
cherries are more
smelling
pronounced
this.
now too.
Wow. That was rich before, but that's
Oh, let's taste it. Holy shit. Wow.
So in Scotland, when adding a little water is called unleashing the serpent.
Whew.
Now, I always give these a rating, and this is going to be right up there. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. I mean, really, this is a sublime whiskey experience.
This must be
It
what
does not.
heaven tastes like.
It does not really get much better than this, and I'm giving this a 9.5.
I want to know what your 10 tastes like.
Well, I don't ever give anything, Tim, because I want to leave the possibility open.
I'd give this like a 9.7. This is brilliant.
Yeah, and I mean, of Glengoyne's other bottlings, having had the 21, and I haven't got anything above this, but having had the 21, the others start to feel like, well, they'd be good, but they're not everything this is. And
This
so I
is
just
amazing.
Want,
I mean, this is really what sex should feel like.
Well,
Strawberry
thanks.
blonde.
We're not driving.